It was just another ordinary afternoon in Los Angeles. The golden sun bathed the city in warmth, and inside a small McDonald's, Keanu Reeves sat alone, enjoying a rare moment of peace. He took a slow sip of his coffee, letting the familiar taste ground him, his mind drifting into quiet contemplation. Then, a shadow approached. A small figure, a 5-year-old boy, moved hesitantly toward him. His hands trembling, his voice a whisper, his eyes filled with a fear that sent a chill down Keanu's spine. Keanu leaned in, his heart now racing. And then, the boy spoke. "Mister, please help me. He's watching me. I don't know where my mom is, but he's coming." Keanu's face turned pale. His grip on the coffee cup tightened, knuckles white. His heartbeat pounded in his ears. His eyes scanned the restaurant. Who was coming? Who was this child afraid of? A cold sensation spread through him. He didn't think. He couldn't think. He just grabbed his phone and dialed 911. What happened next shook everyone to their core, and it was just the beginning. It was a sunny afternoon in Los Angeles. The warmth of the sun enveloped the city, and the sky was a brilliant shade of blue, with only a few soft white clouds scattered across it. Inside the McDonald's, despite the usual hustle and bustle, the atmosphere was calm and peaceful. People were ordering their meals, children were laughing and playing in the designated play area, and adults were sitting at tables enjoying their meals, chatting casually. The place felt vibrant, yet there was an undeniable tranquility in the air, a sharp contrast to the fast-paced life outside. Keanu, however, felt something different, something almost palpable in the air. Earlier that day, he had been part of a volunteer event, engaging with children, helping them, and bringing joy to their lives. It was something that always warmed his heart, but after such an emotionally and physically taxing day, Keanu found himself craving a moment of peace, just a few minutes of solitude. McDonald's, amidst its hustle and bustle, seemed like the perfect place to momentarily escape. Here, surrounded by the noise of others, he could be alone, uninterrupted. Keanu sat quietly in a corner of the restaurant, sipping his coffee, allowing the simple pleasure of the moment to wash over him. It was rare for him to find a moment to himself like this, away from the world's constant demands. He closed his eyes for a brief moment, letting the warmth of the sun and the gentle hum of activity around him relax his body and mind. It felt like the world outside could keep spinning while he stayed still, just for a while. But as he sat there, savoring the stillness, something caught his eye. He noticed a young boy approaching him. The boy, probably around 5 years old, had messy blonde hair and was wearing a faded, slightly worn t-shirt. His clothes, though not torn, showed signs of use. A little faded, a little frayed around the edges, as if they had been well loved but were also showing their age. The child's face was a mixture of curiosity and hesitation, and in his hands he clutched a broken toy car tightly, as though it was his most prized possession. Keanu, sensing the boy's approach, couldn't help but feel a stir in his gut. There was something unsettling about the child's demeanor, something beyond the typical childlike curiosity. The boy was trembling, and though he walked closer, his movements seemed slow and uncertain, as if he was unsure of what to do next. The toy car in his hands was battered, the paint chipped, and the wheels broken. It was a small thing, yet it seemed to provide the boy with some semblance of comfort, as if it was all he had in a world that perhaps didn't feel very secure to him. Keanu instinctively gave the boy a soft smile, trying to reassure him. "Hi there, how can I help you?" he asked gently. The boy paused for a moment, his eyes darting nervously around the room. He appeared to be searching for someone or something, and for a split second, Keanu wondered if he might be lost. But then, the boy's eyes met his, and for a brief moment, Keanu saw something in those eyes. Something deeper than mere curiosity or shyness. There was a raw, unspoken fear. A fear that Keanu couldn't ignore. The boy, still clutching the toy car, finally spoke in a voice so quiet that Keanu had to lean in to hear him clearly. "Please help me. I can't find my mom. That man, he's going to find me." Keanu's heart skipped a beat. The way the boy spoke, so softly, with such trembling fear, sent a chill down his spine. His mind raced as he processed what the boy had just said. A man? Who was this man? Why was the boy so scared? Keanu's thoughts were interrupted by the boy's further explanation, which only made his unease grow. "He's always watching. He's always there. I don't know where my mom is, but that man, he's going to hurt me." The words were whispered in such a way that Keanu could feel the gravity of the child's terror. In that instant, Keanu realized that this was no ordinary case of a lost child. There was something far more sinister at play. The boy was in real danger. Without a second thought, Keanu's hand reached for his phone. His instincts kicked in, and he immediately dialed 911, giving the operator as much information as he could, while keeping a watchful eye on the boy and scanning the restaurant. He tried to stay calm, but inside, his anxiety was mounting. What was happening here? Who was the man the boy was talking about? Why was he so afraid? As Keanu spoke to the operator, trying to maintain his composure, his eyes never left the boy. The child was shaking, visibly terrified, still clutching the broken toy car as if it was the only thing keeping him grounded in that moment. Keanu felt a surge of protectiveness rise within him. He didn't know what was going on, but one thing was clear. He needed to keep this child safe. The broken toy car was a symbol of the boy's fear. It wasn't just a toy. It was a lifeline, something the boy was holding on to desperately. Keanu could tell that the child had experienced something that had shaken him to his core. The fear in his eyes wasn't just the result of losing a parent. It was the result of something far darker. The boy looked up at Keanu, his voice barely audible. "He's always following us. He's always around. My mom, she's scared of him. She says it's fine. But I know he's going to hurt us. I saw him. I saw him look at us. He's following me. I don't know what to do." Keanu knelt down to the boy's level, trying to offer him some comfort. "It's okay, Liam. We'll find your mom. Don't worry, you're safe here with me," he said gently. But despite Keanu's soothing words, he could tell that the boy was still terrified, still struggling with the fear that gripped him. Keanu's heart went out to the child. He wanted to protect him, to make him feel safe. But there were so many questions swirling in his mind. Who was this man? And why was the boy so afraid? Suddenly, Keanu noticed something. Someone, out of the corner of his eye. A man had entered the McDonald's. At first, Keanu didn't think much of it, but then he saw the man's behavior. He was looking around, scanning the room, his gaze locking onto Keanu and the boy. Keanu's instincts went into overdrive. This wasn't just a coincidence. The man wasn't just another customer. There was something about the way he was watching them that felt like a threat. Keanu's heart raced. He immediately stood up, positioning himself between the boy and the man. "Stay close to me, Liam," he whispered. The boy instinctively grabbed Keanu's arm, still shaking. Keanu could feel the weight of the situation bearing down on him. He couldn't let this man approach any closer. He had to keep the boy safe, no matter what. The man took a few steps closer, his expression unreadable. Keanu's eyes locked onto his, and for a split second, he saw something cold and menacing, in the man's gaze. The man's lips twitched into what seemed like a forced smile. "Is everything okay here?" the man asked, his voice dripping with insincerity. Keanu didn't flinch. His instincts screamed that this man was the threat the boy had warned about. He couldn't let him get any closer. "Everything's fine. Just helping this kid with his toy," Keanu said, his voice calm but firm. The man paused, his eyes narrowing as if weighing Keanu's response. But just as Keanu braced himself for what might happen next, a sense of relief washed over him. The police had arrived. Keanu, still keeping a protective eye on the boy, watched as two officers walked into the McDonald's, their presence immediately commanding attention. One of the officers, a tall man, scanned the room, and upon noticing Keanu and the boy, he immediately approached them. The second officer, a woman, followed closely behind, her eyes focused on the man who had been watching them. "We received a call about a possible disturbance," the officer said, his tone professional but firm. "Are you all right?" he asked Keanu, clearly assessing the situation. Keanu nodded quickly, turning to the boy. "We're fine now," he said, giving Liam a reassuring smile. The officers immediately moved to detain the man who had been lingering near them. The tension that had been building in the air seemed to dissipate, but Keanu knew that the danger wasn't entirely over. The man was still a threat, and he had to ensure the boy and his mother were safe. The police quickly apprehended the man, and as they began questioning him, they uncovered troubling details. The man had been stalking the boy and his mother for some time, following them from place to place, watching their every move. Keanu listened intently as the officers gathered more information, piecing together the situation. Keanu, though relieved that the boy was safe for now, couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to help more. He worked with the police to locate Liam's mother, and after some time, they tracked her down. The woman was shaken, but unharmed. Keanu made sure she was safely escorted to a secure location, her son by her side.